What's up?
Oh man, let me tell you. First of all, let's swap back to the right sides. This is the correct way that we're supposed to be here. Shout out to Fozzy. I saw him in here early. I saw Jay Coco. Shout out to Jay Coco.
What's going on, everybody?
So very soon, I thought it was going to be today, but very soon I'm going to have the second part of the vibe coding AI tools video. I am super happy about where the website that I was making has ended up. And I had some consulting today about it. And it turns out that I'm going to make a whole Crypto Nightly website. And I'm super excited about how that's going to turn out. So shout out to everybody out there. We're going to be in our own spot on the internet from now on. So you guys should be excited about that. What's up,
yes,
guys?
most definitely.
How are you? What's up?
Just wore out. Trying to get this area tightened up. I mean, I run a tight ship, but it's because I'm always here. You know what I mean? So when problems come up, I can take care of them. Or if dates get moved, I can change with the flow. But come Friday, I'm no longer going to be here. So I'm trying to get everything tightened up. I'm trying to get the guys lined out for like a week or so in advance. And so they don't run into any snags or anything like that. And it's just exhausting. I was doing tape lighting all day tonight. I showed John some pictures. So my neck's all effed up from looking like this all day. But other than that, I mean, good, tired, but I'm ready to get this move on. Get out of here. Get back to the desert.
Well,
how about you?
You wouldn't be desert crypto if you didn't get back to the desert. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, I guess this is technically the high desert, but that just means it's not as hot. It's not the desert.
I feel that 110%. Well, okay, so as far as me, dude, today I had some of the day off because of the weather, and that was great. And so I was just, I don't even know how to explain. It took me 4 hours to figure out how to do the nerdy computer stuff that people do every day in like 2 minutes. And so I was just learning a whole lot. Desert looks cold. Is it cold out there?
It's cold, bro. The weather up here, I do love the weather up here because it's like so. I mean, we only hit over 100 like 5 or 6 days last year, but the springs last forever. It was 82 degrees yesterday. Today it's like 65, which is all right, but not when you got 40-mile-an-hour winds. So it's cold. I know I look like I'm all bundled up like it's winter, but I'm cold, bro.
Sup, Third Patriot. Sup, Jay Coco. Love all you guys.
What's going on, everybody?
First of all, there's been a lot of stuff going on in the news. I was actually surprised. So I also see a lot of people in the Cardano ecosystem trying to talk about this guy. You've sent me some of the things about this guy that he said about Charles. And there's a lot of drama going on. And people in the ecosystem say, hey, ignore it. Don't pay attention to it. That's one thing. And like, I agree, but our bags are invested in this conversation. Narrative. So I think it's narrative. So I think it's worth paying attention to. Rather you side with the guy or not, or you're more towards Charles or not. Like, I definitely feel like we need to give Charles the benefit of the doubt, because it's really easy for somebody that, isn't a billionaire to be like, that billionaire is a jerk. And then for everybody to just be like, yeah, he probably is because he's a billionaire. Right. But, I definitely think that there is something to pay attention to there. But I also think that the benefit of the doubt needs to go to the person that has invested hundreds of millions in our ecosystem because
Right.
more than I've invested, right? That's more than I've invested. So that's just kind of how I feel about it. And then there's just been some really interesting partnerships. Dude, shout out to what was that big acquisition that I saw earlier today? And I think it was dude, Saturn Swap by
Oh yeah.
Points.
Yeah.
Shout
It's in our thumbnail. So Flex Point Studios acquired Saturn Swap.
It's massive. And that's
Yep.
huge because now Talos or Agent T, Agentic, right? Well, John definitely is not a jerk. I try to do what I can. But Agentic T is now going to be able to do all of the trading on Saturn Swap, which is an instant liquidity DEX, which is funny to me because shout out to Avatar Nick, okay? What a legend and a gangster, because you made Levy, sold it, right? And then you made Saturn Swap, sold it. So like he can't be doing bad right now. He's probably sipping Mai Tais in Maui right now.
That's where I'd be. I definitely wouldn't be wearing a hoodie if I was.
There we go. Until he becomes a billionaire. Yeah,
right?
Look, when I become a billionaire, I'm going to be looking at everybody that's been in the comments, everybody that I've talked to in this ecosystem, and I'm going to be like, hey, let's build something cool. Because $1 billion, look, I think it's crazy that there's so many people that do all this stuff, have all this money, and they don't do something cool with it. Like, come on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy to me because my goal in life is to make $1 billion so I can spend 98% of it trying to do something cool and failing.
Right.
And like that 2%, if I do something cool, like then I'll be satisfied. Even if it doesn't make me more money than the $1 billion I spent. You know what I mean?
For sure. I mean, if you have all this money and you're like advocating for X, Y, and Z, well, why don't you put some of that money into X, Y, and Z and make it fun?
Yeah.
You know, put up billboards or something like that. Nobody uses billboards, but put up billboards. I mean, even Buc-ee's. So we have you guys know what Buc-ee's is, right? I'm sure a lot of people know what Buc-ee's. Dude, it is like
Buc-ee's
the Walmart of gas stations.
Was the biggest thing that ever happened to Richmond, Kentucky, but now continue.
Right. So in Arizona, there are no Buc-ee's. But between Tucson and Phoenix, there's a massive billboard that says Buc-ee's 492 miles behind you. It's like, get off on the next exit, make a U-turn, and go 492 miles the opposite way. There we are. You know what I mean? Just in a random state, you know? Make it fun, make it cool, you know? Put a billboard of John and his freaking what is it, llama in the middle of, you know, it don't actually cost that much to get like airtime on the screens on freaking Times Square. You know, like $100,000 for, you know, a couple months, and it runs in like a, you know, circle. Yeah, do stuff like that. Why not, right?
Man, let me tell you, it's gonna be dangerous. If I ever make that $1 billion, guys, it's going to be dangerous, and you will know, right? It's not going to be one of those things where you're going to know that I got it, but you're going to be driving down the highway, or you're going to be doing something, and you're going to be like, why would anybody do that? And then that's how you'll know. That'll be the moment you'll know. You'll be like, John made it.
Right.
But without further ado, let's get into what's going on in the market, and let's jump into it because lots of stuff is going on. Desert.
All right. Before we do that, everybody do us a favor, hit that like button, subscribe, tap that notification bell. If you're on X, tag some DJs, give us a repost, all that good stuff. We go live Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. PST, bringing you the daily news nightly. There is a caveat to this. Tomorrow is my last day on the show. Forever. Okay, maybe not forever.
He doesn't mean that.
Okay, maybe not forever. Maybe not forever. No, I got to tear down. I got to tear down the office. Get moved this weekend. I'm hoping that next week, Wednesday, Thursday, I might have everything because I got a lot of stuff going on once I get down there. But like Wednesday, Thursday, I might have at least a setup enough to be able to jump on the live stream. So that would be cool. You know, if I can get everything, get all my ducks in a row as soon as I get down there. But yeah, okay, without further ado, let's get into the market update. All right. Let's get the freshest data. Boom, coming in at 3.49 trillion, up 0.8% with 152 billion in volume. Not bad for a Tuesday, not bad. Bitcoin dominance just keeps going down. We're at 58.9 and Ethereum keeps pumping at 9.25. And apparently, even with all that activity, it's free to send an ETH transaction right now. So let's take a look. Bitcoin coming in at 103,655, up 1.4. Ethereum at 2661, up 8.9. It was over $2,700 just a little bit ago. That's so crazy. I mean, a week or two ago, it was at like 1,700, 1,800. Yeah. Who'd have thunk it, right? Ethereum leading the pack. XRP at 256, up 3.9. BNB at 660, up 1.4. Solana back to 182, up 6.9. We have Doge at 2368, up 5.9. Cardano with a nice pump, 81.99, up 3.8. And Tron rounding off the top 10 at 2718, up 2.5. We got SWI up a notch to number 12 at 399, up 3.3. I think it's going to be a little bit before. So it needs about another 12 billy before we can get back into the top 10, but it's going to happen. I think SWI is definitely a top 10 coin, and I do believe it deserves a spot up there. I mean, Tron, what? Stablecoin transactions? What's Tron good for? It had meme coins. I guess it still does, but you know, that's the only thing I use Tron for is to send stable coins because it's so cheap. But either way, let's look at the biggest gainers. Athena coming in at 20%, Pi up 14, Optimism up 13, the Graph with a nice pump up 13. Damn, is that right? Look at that. Pi is up 114% on the week. That's crazy. We got, I don't even know. Oh, that's ETH. Maker up 10%, Lido DAO up 9%, Caspa up 9%, and more staked Ether. Theta, there's an oldie, right? We don't hear about Theta Network anymore. Up 10.2. So it just goes to show you, look, even Theta's up 50%. Story IP's up 30, and then Immutable. Look, Immutable's up 37. So everything is pumping. Pump. All right. And biggest losers are World Liberty Financial's stablecoin, which is down 0.1%. That's really about it. White Bitcoin. So that's all we got going on there. Let's look at TradFi real quick. Stock market closed a little mixed. So the Dow was down, 0.64%, but the S&P was up 0.72. And shout out to Coinbase. Coinbase is now on the S&P 500. That's awesome. So NASDAQ is up 1.6%. The Russell K is up 0.4. And look at this, the VIX under 20. That is awesome. That means all the traders are starting to have faith in the market. Whoops. And we haven't been this low since what? Where are we at? Back here? back in March, towards the end of March right there. So that is beautiful to see. Look at that, just massive tariff spike and taper off. Good to see, good for traders. Let's see here. But let's take a look at Asia. Asia is opening, well, a little mixed. So Australia is down 0.15. Japan is down almost 0.5%. And look at the Asia Pacific markets mostly extend rally on easing US-China tensions. Well, somebody needs to tell Japan and Australia. But Hong Kong is pumping up 1.28 and Shanghai is flat. Switch over to pre-market real quick. And we're pretty much flat. You know, Dow, everything's within is down less than 0.1%. So just a nice little flat streak. And the big news of today is inflation coming down. So we got the core CPI down 0.2 instead of 0.3. That's month over month. CPI month over month down 0.2 instead of 0.3. And the yearly, that's the big one. The yearly is down 2.3. Is not down 2.3. I'm sorry. Is down to 2.3 with a forecast coming in under a forecast of 2.4. So that's a good one. And Trump is calling Powell too late Powell. So we will see. But I think the prospects of a rate drop on poly market are dropping. So it was, you know, what is it? June 10th, I think is the next FOMC, something like that.
Yep.
And it has now dropped to an 89% chance of a rate cut. So
I
don't know.
I want to speak on that. Like, I think it's hilarious because we talked about this earlier, and I said this before that, you know, Trump says the economy's great, rates should come down, that it would be like jet fuel for the economy, right? But that's what he said. But other people have said, well, you know, the decider of that is not Trump. It is the Fed chair, Jerome Powell.
Right.
And he said, well, somebody's got to tell Trump that because he doesn't know. And then he's talking about, you know, the guy, he doesn't love me, so he didn't drop the rates, blah, 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 and all this stuff. And it's hilarious. It's so funny to watch this play out because, like I said, like, you know, he doesn't know that he doesn't call all of the shots. Like, it's a shock to him, right? But I think that we're still not going to see that rate cut yet. And the reason is because Jerome Powell doesn't care what Trump says. He has his dual mandate. So until the jobs numbers come down and until some of these other things happen, he can't, like, it doesn't make sense for him to make that determination ahead of the numbers, right? He has to wait for the numbers. And we all know that the numbers that the U.S. determines what the economy does are lagging. So they generally happen way after the fact. So that's why I think it's so funny. We got Trump out here talking about too late Powell, right? And that's just because, like, it's his job. It's his job to make fact-based decisions. And those facts will not come out until much later. So interesting to see. There is no data. Exactly.
It's all Fugazi.
It's all Fugazi. It's all fake. They just print more money. You know what I mean? None of it is real.
Did you see the Coinbase commercial?
I didn't, but
it's like it's either 400. It's a good commercial. Here, we should run it real quick. Let me grab it real quick.
Oh, also shout out to Coinbase. If you guys want to pay us for running your commercial, we'll take it.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm on the wrong freaking.
Okay, is that okay? Do you agree with that, Desert? Are we in alignment there?
Us getting paid? Yeah. I'm in alignment with us getting paid.
Yeah, if they want to pay us, you know.
Okay, here we go. Let me share my screen.
Maybe that's why the dollar loses value over time. But there's one thing. Every day, the Fed prints an average of 460.
I like it.
That's 26,000 shipping containers a year, created out of thin air. Maybe that's why the dollar loses value over time. But there's one thing they can never print more of: Bitcoin. At the size of a quarter, this is all there will ever be. Shouldn't a store of value hold its value?
100%.
Every day, the Fed prints an average of...
I like it. I like it. It was a good one. It was a good one.
Yeah, that's definitely... Shout out to Brian Armstrong. Shout out to Coinbase. I mean, they got their problems, but it's who I trust when it comes to an exchange, a U.S. exchange, like an on-ramp, off-ramp. I've never had any problems. I've off-ramped a lot of money. I've on-ramped a lot of money, and it always goes smoothly. You know what I mean? I was always so scared for so long because you heard those horror stories where, like, you know, oh, I transferred 10 grand to my bank account and now they flagged it for fraud. Or remember what happened to BitBoy in them when they transferred all that money to buy property and they froze his account and shut it and flagged him for fraud and all kinds of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I always used PayPal. I would go from my Coinbase to PayPal, from PayPal to my bank account. But one day I was just like, you know what? Screw it. It's like, it says instant transfers, you know what I mean, to my bank account. And I've put an ungodly amount into Coinbase from my bank account. What's the problem, right? And I haven't had any issues. Boom. Even when you use so like instant transfers cost a little bit of money, but like the 1 to 3 day transfers are free. And I usually get it within a day. Sometimes if I do it in the morning, I'll have it before the close of business. You know, so. Base was up 49.68 per share today. Base. Why do I not know what base is? I don't know what base is. You know what base is?
Coinbase.
Oh, it's coin.
The stock.
Coin is the ticker.
Yeah.
Patriot.
Yeah. Coinbase.
Let's take a look at that. Oh wow. Yeah, it had a 24% pump today. Coinbase did. Yeah. Yeah, it opened at 231 and closed at 256. So no, wait a minute, that's not right. Why does it say it says plus $49, but it also said it opened at 231 and it closed at 256. Well, that's only $25. But it does say plus 49.68 on the thing. So I don't know. But yeah, look at that beautiful daily green candle, and it's above the 200. I think Coinbase is about ready to take off. This is the setup right here. You know, crosses the 200, the 21 getting closer. Here, let me put those there. Heikinashi, so it smooths it out a little bit.
I was gonna say, what an open.
Yeah. Pump across the 200. Boom. And the 21 is pumping. This is so weird. Look, it changed all the numbers when I went from regular candles to Heikinashi candles. That's a little crazy, right? Let's go back to regular candles. So crazy. But yeah, coin is pumping. Love it.
Sheesh. Well, we're at that place. So I need to make sure that everybody here has reposted the stream on Twitter. If you're on YouTube, make sure that you like and subscribe. Share this with a friend, right? So if everybody were to do that and share it with one friend, we would have twice as many people in here. But also, we are Crypto Nightly. We come to you every night. Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific time, bringing you the daily news nightly. And Desert, we can hear it.
Well, I was checking it on my phone.
Okay.
Somebody has not hit the like button.
You were reposting and you didn't hit the like button, so you had to go do it. We love that. Yeah. Shout out to Fozzie. And in the meantime, let's hear a message from our sponsors. Join us at Rare Evo, the top blockchain conference, August 6th through 10th, 2025, at Caesars Palace in Las Vegas. The top blockchain projects like Algorand, Midnight, HBAR, ICP, Thorchain, and Igon, and many more are going to be there. This is definitely a must for blockchain enthusiasts and fans. Use discount code CryptoNightly to save on your tickets and to support the channel. Don't miss it. We can't wait to see you there. It's going to be a blast. All right. So here we are. You see this?
I see this.
This is where we're at right now. So from where you saw it just a minute ago, here's where we're at. And I'm going to get it together. I'm going to get some more of us on here. But yeah. So this was
nice. As of today, Fozzie will be there.
Excellent. Awesome. We love that. We love to see it. And now let's see what we got going on over here. All right. So can you see this? Are we good? Are we good here?
You're good. You're good.
Okay. So Conor McGregor to meet El Salvador's president. Oh, this is actually a couple of days ago, but we haven't. It's okay. We got it. Let's actually hit this. We'll say, watch your guru, President Trump, to sign executive order cutting prescription drug prices up to 80%. Now, what do you think about that, Desert? Do you love that? He's going to sign an executive order.
I love it.
My $268 yellow fever vaccination is now going to be 80% less.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that I think it's something like 85 or 90% of the drugs are manufactured in the United States. Yet we pay the highest for prescription medications around the world. You know what I mean? So with who was it? I want to say it was RFK that went and talked to all these pharmaceutical companies, and they came to an agreement to bring it down. So everything's supposed to be a lot cheaper. We'll see. I mean, I have a couple medications, but they're like already super cheap. But hell, if they're going to make them cheaper,
I am 1,000% certain that RFK didn't walk in there and say, "Hey, you're going to drop your profit margin 80%." And they were like, "Oh yeah, sounds great."
Well, they negotiated with other countries also around the world. Basically, it's like an equalization of price.
Yeah, raise them there, lower them here.
Yeah. So we get more of an equilibrium when they're spreading their massive profits across the world. You know? So. Yeah.
So it won't hurt us as much, and they'll still make the same. That's really sweet of them. We love that.
Right.
All right.
Oh, so, speaking of what was it? The CEO of United Healthcare stepped down, and United Healthcare dumped like 12% or something like that on market open.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, we were just talking about how big that Coinbase pumped, and that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And this was some good news. U.S. cuts tariffs from 145% to 30% on Chinese imports, while China reduces the duty from 125% to 10% on U.S. goods. Both countries announced a 90-day temporary reduction to cool trade tensions. We'll see what comes of this. I think that it's going to be a really slow negotiation because they really don't, especially now, have to rush. right? Nobody has to rush here. So I think that when we're about 90 days out, there's probably a quick resolution that's going to happen shortly after. I think we'll probably get to 90 days. Everybody will be like, oh no, it's over. The market will dump. All the rich people will buy a bunch of the stock market, and then the trade deal will be announced, and we'll probably see a massive pump.
So what is it? So 90 days. So we're in May. So June, July, August.
Yeah.
Right when we're coming to Q3. That would be crazy if we see, if they're like, oh, the negotiations imploded and now the whole market's dumping. So I don't know what they're promising. So what they want to do is they want to open up China to like massive imports. Because, obviously we import a lot of stuff to China, but there's a lot of stuff China doesn't allow in their country. China, whatever, CCP, dictatorial, whatever. But there's a lot of things that China won't allow us to import or allow other countries to import. So they're trying to get it to where like China is open for business, I guess. We'll see. I mean, it's not going to be easy. I'm sure Xi Jinping is going to require a lot of incentive. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I could see that for sure. And then we talked about this executive order, Conor McGregor to meet El Salvador's President Bukele to establish a Bitcoin reserve in Ireland, which I don't understand that.
Well, over the past week, he's been extremely vocal about Ireland creating a strategic Bitcoin reserve. He's also been asking for feedback on other cryptos and stuff like that. And he just wants to give, like monetary relief back to the citizens of Ireland. He's an Ireland citizen, right? So he's just become the voice piece of Ireland, I guess.
I like that. I like that. So, we had Conor McGregor as the tough guy. Now he's the tough guy and leader of Ireland. We like Conor McGregor, though. I just was surprised. I didn't watch this progression happen. So, and I'm not Irish, so it wasn't like I was like, oh, that's my guy. You know what I mean? But I like it.
Yeah. And he's a moneymaker. He's rich AF, and it's not from getting his head bashed in the UFC.
No.
It's
he's
from like his alcohol line and his business and stuff like that.
No, he's a smart dude. I like it. I think these pictures are great. Look at that. He looks almost like Dr. Evil.
Yeah, he is. Hey, bro, it's like he's giving him the side eye, right? Like, who are you talking to? You talking to me?
Yeah. Are you talking to me?
Right.
And then Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong says the company just became the first and only crypto firm to join the S&P 500. Crypto is here to stay. I do think that this is a massive statement and a huge movement that is going on because, dude, they're not going to wait. They made it up there, and they've consistently performed incredibly well on the stock market. Right. And they've had an amazing history of managing risk. I think that things are really going to go well for Coinbase. If you're in the TradFi markets, I think it's a good way to go. And Justin, New York mayor says his goal is to make New York City the crypto capital of the globe. I thought this was interesting. I saw this. He said this at the New York Crypto Summit, and it's an interesting statement because when you look at the economy of New York in comparison to other ones, like New York is massive. They're definitely huge. They're a giant. And so this means a lot. We've talked about it before many a time when countries are talking about Bitcoin reserves. It's way more almost most of the time when a U.S. state says that it's going to adopt a crypto reserve. The economies are much bigger, but New York is one of the biggest, so we love that.
Well, and New York's always held that spot as like the financial capital of the world, at least of the Western Hemisphere, right? And it
Absolutely.
only makes sense that with companies fleeing New York and this and that, that they try to establish some kind of crypto. It's all the big boys are already there.
Yeah.
Not so much anymore just because of internet and stuff like that. But I like the little zinger. I don't really agree with Mayor Adams' politics, but I respect him for like when he got voted in, he was like, I'll take my first 3 paychecks in Bitcoin, and everybody laughed at him. And even in this message, he's like, well, who's laughing now? You know what I mean? Because this was what, 2020 maybe when he became mayor, I think. So, or maybe 22 when he became mayor. But either way, Bitcoin was not as much as it is right now. So,
yeah, he definitely had a good idea there.
Yeah.
It was a good way to do it.
Yeah.
And then we got Brian talking about this. Coinbase just became the first and only crypto company to join the S&P 500. The milestone represents what the true believers, from retail investors and institutional investors to our employees and partners, knew all along. Crypto is here to stay. I think that's very powerful. This was a great commercial, and this was the breaking news.
Crypto Zombie better watch out, because not only is Talos AI,
It's also trading.
but it looks like he's an alien also. So he's coming, he's coming for Zombie.
No, he's definitely coming for Zombie. He's going to start trading against him. Every time he makes a trade, he's going to be like, how did I get stopped out already? Breaking news, we're happy to announce that we've acquired SaturnSwap.io, arguably Cardano's most advanced order book DEX. We're beyond excited because owning the DEX is one of the last puzzle pieces that Saturn #agent into a fully reflexive asset trading burn, lock, and repeat. Stay tuned. The cosmos just tilted in our favor. I think this is big, and we actually learned about this indirectly, right? So we've been working on the trading bot, which is currently soon to have some pretty big updates and some new news, and it'll be back on. But one of the problems that was happening is when they tried to use the trading bot with certain dexes and certain sexes, they realized that a lot of the times the trading that was going on like TradingView and in different things didn't reflect the same with sexes and dexes. Well, dexes were fine, one thing, but on sexes, because they kept their order books separate. So you couldn't actually see what the order books were, the true order books, unless you were actually like tracking and counting all of the trading that you were doing with them. So it actually took some time to learn what the actual trade flow and like how much volume was actually happening on the sexes, which was very different from the true numbers that were visible, right? So the visibly you would see a certain number, but in actuality that number would be considerably less. And so they had to get over that hump. And so by getting over that hump, it seems that that's what agent, right? So it has changed a bunch of times, right? It was agentic, it was Talos, but basically Talos, I'm going to say Talos because maybe I'm a boomer, right? Because I call him Talos, but Talos now having access to the order book will be able to actually look at trade flow and then make decisions in real time on what's happening in the market. So this is a massive deal. And I feel like it's even more massive because we know that this has been the problem with sexes. You see these numbers publicized, and those aren't the real numbers. So by having its own DEX, They know the true numbers, and the metrics that Talos is able to work off of are going to be accurate. So this is bullish. I mean, this is pretty crazy. And they're talking about a trade, compute, burn, lock, and repeat. So Talos's goal is probably going to be to burn a whole bunch of Talos by burning the gains from his trades, which I don't know, man.
Aren't they trying to make Talos like a market maker also, or something like that?
A multi-chain market maker.
Right.
We've already implemented some of the other chains onto it, which if you haven't checked it out, check out the interview that I did with Decimalist, the creator of Talos. It's pretty incredible, but I love it. I'm bullish on it. I'm excited about it for sure. And I love this. As the saying goes, first they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, then they add you to the S&P 500 or something like that. So pretty cheeky. Love Coinbase. Absolutely rocking. All right. And then let's see. Gonna wrap this up real quick. So I mentioned this Masato Alexander. Give him a follow. Check out what he's talking about. And then Dubai partners with Crypto.com to accept crypto for government services. This is pretty crazy. Dubai's got a lot of money. We think we have some money here in the U.S. Dubai has some crazy money. So that's awesome.
Well, just look at Dubai, and they literally have no exports.
Yeah. Well, I mean, their only export is oil. So.
Well, it's money. You know what I mean? That's actually. I mean, like literally, like Dubai, like not like the entire UAE. I understand they're part of OPEC and everything like that, but Dubai itself, that's crazy. It's definitely on the bucket list to go to Dubai.
It's funny. My 7-Eleven here by my house has Dubai chocolate. Have you ever seen this? Do you know what this is?
Is it really from Dubai?
I believe that it is, but it is $25 for a bar of chocolate that has just a ton of pistachio cream in the inside and all kinds of stuff like fresh pistachios. I mean, like, it just sounds crazy, but like, dude, pistachio, when it's like creamy, it does taste a lot like chocolate. It's kind of hard to. It's really rich in flavor. It's very similar.
Right.
But
I had some chocolate from Germany. My sister has Airbnbs and stuff, and we have these Germans that come down every year. They're like skydivers, and they always bring her gifts and stuff like that. And it was definitely different than American chocolate. And it was just like, I don't know, because it was like all real ingredients, you know what I mean? Because they don't allow all that crazy stuff that we allow in our food. And it was just creamier, and it was not, and it was subtle.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like blasted with like artificial sweetness,
Yeah.
So, I'm sure that one from Dubai is pretty freaking good.
I'm sure it is, but I said $25.
Well, what? There is that.
One bar of chocolate. I said, this is for those oil-rich guys. This is not for me. It's not for me. But then we also got Senator Cynthia Lummis urges the Trump administration to eliminate taxes on Bitcoin and crypto companies. We love that. And shout out to Michael K.ETH talking about MetaMask. No Face ID, no fingerprints, no biometrics, no cloud sync, no voice recognition, no device radios. Strong, unique, random credentials, hardware-based 2-factor authentication, 3-factor authentication if possible, all accounts, all devices, eliminate variables to only what you have explicit access and control over. MetaMask is doing some badass things, and I'm super excited. I was excited to talk to Michael. I was excited to have that conversation. Check out that interview because it was really good about what they're doing over there. And MetaMask is going to be the Web3 operating system. So the way that we use Google, people will be using MetaMask. It'll just be the thing you open and then do everything through. And I think that nobody's going to recognize that crypto is going on in the background in the future.
See, the only problem I see there is that the innovation and the adoption curve of crypto seems to be the wallet abstraction.
Yeah.
Seems to be like the signing in with Google and the this and the that. So, well, that goes against about a bunch of the premises they have on there right now, Well, I guess, it might not literally say that, but using your Google account to sign into your MetaMask wallet is not the same as what he's talking about.
Yeah.
So, like, how are they going to adapt? Is that going to be, is it just going to be the hardcore? Are we going to end up going from like the retail to the hardcore crypto guys? Because we're still using hardware wallets and stuff like that.
I think that we are going to be the hardcore crypto guys. And I think MetaMask is going to come up with a solution that's easier for other people. I think Coinbase will also come up. Well, I think Base is going to be the main place where we see some of those things. But I think MetaMask and those kinds of things are going to create that easy integration. I mean, like what Sui's doing as well, right? Sui is so easy. Make a wallet on Sui in 3 seconds is crazy.
Yeah.
But
we shall see. Interesting times ahead.
But so that's what I got. What do we got going on in the markets? I guess we'll play this. This market update one more time.
All right.
Check out what's going on in Bitcoin.
Well, we are flat, sir. The market is just, so when we come out to the daily, everything kind of looks the same. Stokes are pointed to the downside. RSI is pointing. What was that about?
That was a I'm sorry.
So I do see sideways action for right now until we break this SR level at about 104,893. We just kind of been riding that. I don't think we're dumping, but I don't think we're gonna pump yet either. We need a lot of things to reset. We need the Stokes to reset, and that's not just for Bitcoin. If we look at SWI, same thing. Come on, Cardano, same thing. Actually, Cardano looks like it's turning back up a little bit. We're getting a little bit of a cross right there on it, and it's bouncing off the 200. So it'll be nice. If we lose that 200, that's going to be a problem. But it looks like we just crossed the 200 on the daily last week, and now we got the 21 coming up. So I could kind of see. Let's see here. Let's take a little further look at what we got going on here. We come across. Just kind of use those points right there. We're just going to call this like a broken pattern. When we come across right here, actually, come down like that. That's going to be our most points of contact. Wick right here. And it looks like we're breaking the downward trending. Stokes look like they are getting ready to flip back to the upside. So I think Cardano might be in for a little bit of a breakout here soon. Let's see here. We are at a SR level right here. I got rid of all my SR levels and I'm resetting them. Some of these levels, like on SWI, I had like 15 freaking SR levels. And I was like, that's just too much noise. I got to get rid of all that. So let's look at Cardano. Let's look at some key. So this is going to be a key range right here, because you can see we broke through November of 24. Boom, we broke through, come up, we come right back down to this range, pop up, come back down. You know, we got action right here, and then look at all this action across here. Even we broke through it and came back down, we made a rest stop right here before, and now we're targeting that again. So if we can break through and we can stay above this, I mean, we can work our way. Excuse me, work our way back up to this 99-cent level, which is a high volume node right here. Dang, what is going on? I can definitely see that happening. If Bitcoin, if we do get a little bit of dump out of a Bitcoin, obviously Cardano is going to come down a little bit. But let's look at the 4-hour. So 4 hours looking kind of strong. You know, it does look like that we might be getting ready to roll over here, and the Stokes are pointed down. But we're looking at this W pattern. Boom, boom, boom. And now we're coming back down. We keep retesting this. And as long as we stay above this 21, I can see us definitely breaking out of this and then continuing to the upside for Cardano. I do like what I'm seeing right there for Cardano. But back to Bitcoin, I think we're just going to go sideways for a little bit. Boom. You know, the 4-hour is showing some upside, but it looks like it's getting ready to turn. So it's already turned a little bit on the Stokes. And the RSI has fell below the 14 moving average, still in the bull territory, but we just need some consolidation. We just need to go sideways a little bit. And you can see even on the 4-hour, look at how many times it's hit its head on this 104. And it's just a matter of time before it breaks this. And once we break this and start putting a couple candles up here, I mean, we're off to the races. You know, the next stop is probably going to be right up here, all-time high at about 109, and then see where we go from there, because then we're going to be in price discovery mode. So I do like where the market's at. I'm sorry, I haven't been trading, so I don't really have any like calls. I haven't been looking at the market like that. I've been looking more at a macro view of the market, and I like what I'm seeing. Even with SWE here, you know, we are getting this bouncing around. We're bouncing around in between 430 and 396-ish right here, and we just keep hitting this. But once we break, it's off to the races. You know, we're probably going to bounce back up here to about 430. You know, 4-hour Stokes are pointed in the right direction. Let's see, are they clipped? They even clipped a little bit. So we might be coming back down on the Stokes. But I think this is all just intermediate. I don't see anything to where we're going to have any big moves in like the next day or two. You know, we'll go silently into the weekend, and we'll get one or two coins that pump out of control. But I think we're just in a real stable spot. Ondo. So I wanted to touch on Ondo because we talked about it last week. That I was saying that if we can break this SR level at 108, boom, we're going to 124. Well, we keep hitting our head on it, and we can't seem to break through it. And now we're just kind of, you know, fizzling to the side. I do think we lost the 21 on the 4-hour. We are losing the 21 on the 4-hour. So it could possibly come down here and retest. And you can see we are putting in lower highs and lower lows. So I would be watching like these trend lines on Ondo. Kind of like a falling, broadening wedge right here. And I would be watching that. I would expect us to maybe come down here, bounce off this 94. But if we get above this and then we break this trend line and we start putting in higher highs, then I'm waiting for the breakout of 108.68. And I think when that breakout comes, it's going to be boom, right to 124, because there is not much volume. We go out to the daily. You can see here, there is not much volume in between this. You know, it's just like straight through right here. We dip down into it and then bounce back out of it. And then when we finally fell through it, we only had one little retest and then fell right through it. And then boom, we couldn't get above. We couldn't get above, but we were wicked right to it. So the problem is all the dailies show the Stokes resetting. It looks like Ondo might be getting ready to clip and head back to the upside. But all the dailies, even, you know, except for Ethereum, and I don't even know what to think about Ethereum. It just took off and did not look back. It's definitely something I wasn't looking at. I wasn't ready for. But we are in. We go to the daily. You can see here, we are about to hit some decent freaking resistance on Ethereum. Look, I haven't used yellow trend lines in so long, so you can tell how long it's been since I actually looked at Ethereum. But we are about to hit some resistance. I would bring this down to about right there. And then we have a lot of touches right here. We have a lot of action right here. And we are actually right at, on the daily, we're actually at a high volume node right now. So we break through that. Our next stop is 28.45. And you can see that is heavy volume right there. Look at all them touches. You know, it's a low volume valley, but you can tell it's an SR level because we got touch, you know, resistance, boom, boom, retest before it fell out. So that's going to be the big one right there. And we are fighting the 200 on the daily right now for Ethereum. We have a big gap in the 21, and we're hitting our head on the 200, which happens to be this SR level at about 26.67 that I just popped up right there. So while the Stokes are overbought, they look like they're curving back in on themselves, like they're getting ready for another run at the 200. And if the daily crosses the 200, I think Ethereum is off to the races, and we could just blow right through these levels right back to 32.60, which is this area right here where we have all this volume at right here. So that's what I'm seeing in the market. I'm not looking at anything particular. I did redeploy a lot of the money that I took out, not all of it, but I put some more money back into SWI, back into Cardano, Cetus. I put some more money back into Cetus because I think it's just a matter of time before it explodes. And you got to remember DEXs. So like Arrow, you know, I was super underwater on Arrow. Now I'm like in the positive. I think I was down like 50% on Arrow. Now I'm like 30 or 40% into the positive. The only coin in my portfolio that is down right now, Pith. And I don't know what's going on with it. It's still down 50%. It's like it just can't compete with Link or something. So, yeah, Cetus is on the same trajectory. And this is actually, Cetus actually looks really good as far as a moving average standpoint now that we're looking at it. You know, we're not really gapped away from the 21. We're fighting the 200. Stokes are nice and low. So if we can break this 200 with a little bit of gusto, you know, put a candle or two, you can see we've been fighting it since last Thursday. Actually, right here, we hit our head on it on April 28th. And then boom, we blew right up, right through it, came back down. And then, you know, so once we get some more volume on SWI, you know, maybe some meme coins or people are going in and out of SWI or farming yield or something like that, that this is going to take off, and we're probably going to blow right through 24 cents. I would expect this to come right back up here to 30 cents on CETUS. So
Sheesh.
that is what I am looking at.
We love to see it. We love to see it.
Definitely bullish. Definitely bullish. You got to pause a little bit. You know what I mean? Check it out. You go on an 8-hour, 700-mile road trip, right? What do you got to do on that road trip? If I wanted to drive from here to where John's at in Maryland, what am I going to have to do on that road trip?
You got to stop.
Yeah. I'm going to have to stop to pee. I might have to stop to get gas.
You might have
if I'm a DJ, I just sleep in a rest area, but if not, I get a hotel for a day. You know, you have to do that along the way.
I don't mind rest areas if it's like just like a long trip.
If it was like just me,
yeah,
I've slept in so many crazy places that I had no problem. I got heavy tent on my truck. I just pull over in a rest area, throw the window thing up in the front, and put the seat warmer on and go to sleep.
Yeah. Well, that's what we got. No, you're good. Thank you guys for joining us. Happy, I don't even know what day it is. Is it Monday? It feels like Tuesday. Tuesday.
We missed Monday because why? We were working.
Yeah. Well, but that's why I felt like it was Monday, right?
Right.
But anyways, thank you guys for joining us. This is Crypto Nightly. We bring you the daily news nightly, and we'll see you tomorrow night, right? Or no?
Yes, sir. Yeah. I will be here tomorrow night.
Yeah, tomorrow night. And then we'll take a little break. So we'll see what happens. I got some videos I want to put out anyways. I've been working on them. I recorded a really great video the other day, and then the audio was messed up, so I had to start it over. So, here we are. But we'll see you guys tomorrow night. Peace out. Peace. Join us at Rare Evo, the top blockchain conference, August 6th through 10th, 2025, at Caesars Palace in Las Vegas. The top blockchain projects like Algorand, Midnight, HBAR, ICP, Thorchain, and Igon, and many more are going to be there. This is definitely a must for blockchain enthusiasts and fans. Use discount code CryptoNightly to save on your tickets and to support the channel. Don't miss it. We can't wait to see you there. It's going to be a blast.